Well, good Tuesday morning to everybody. It's amazing what a difference of 5 degrees will make. Um, we're up about 9 degrees today, and a big difference over the other day. Um, so we're reading through, what was it, Matthew 18? Just double check the title. But it's all about restoration, reconciliation, restoration. Is what Paul said that the ministry is, that we are in the ministry of reconciliation. And here we have Jesus teaching some important lessons on that. First of all, he talks about the sheep, the lost sheep, how the shepherd will leave the 99 in safety while he goes looking for the one that's lost. And this has to do with the greatest commandment that Jesus told us, was to love the Lord your God. So it's a reconciliation. It's a restoration of the relationship with the shepherd. And then he goes on and he talks about the restoration of friendship, of how to restore broken friendship. And he talks about the fact of going to reconcile, and if the person doesn't want to reconcile, you bring a witness, and then it's done in front of everybody. So there are these steps, these opportunities that are given for reconciliation. And this has to do with the second commandment, which is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And this is an involved thing. And I just want to point out in this that at no point did he say to kick the person out of the church. At no point, even though they refused to be reconciled, even though they refused to have those differences settled, they've failed to recognize their part in it. All he says is to treat them like the unsaved, is what he says. He doesn't say remove them. He just says, listen, if they don't restore the relationship at this point, just treat them like the lost. Treat them like the unsaved. And we're constantly trying to get the lost and the unsaved into our church so they can hear the word. We don't want to remove anybody from hearing the word of God, because it has the power to restore, and this is so important. And this leads to the next part, the great teaching he gave us on forgiveness, and it was with Peter, and basically he said that there's no end to forgiveness. The only problem is that you may forgive somebody for the wrong that they've done, but as in the case that he showed us, if the person refuses to acknowledge what they've done, then they can't actually receive the forgiveness. Then forgiveness is about your part of the relationship. It's not about them. It's about you being at peace with yourself, that you have forgiven them, but they've not received that forgiveness. They can't receive forgiveness for something that they don't acknowledge. That's a difficult thing. So when we forgive somebody, and hopefully we do right away, for doing something against us, we forgive them. That's not the end of the matter. That's just the end of the matter from our end of it. There's got to be a point where they come to, where they say, you know what, I was wrong. You know what I did was wrong. And then they can receive that forgiveness. But as long as they say, hey, I wasn't at fault here. Hey, I didn't do anything here. Hey, this was on you, it wasn't on me. Then they can't receive your forgiveness. These are hard things, because this is dealing with the messiness of relationships. It would be wonderful if it was as simple as love your neighbor as you love yourself. If people responded to that would be really fantastic. But it's not as easy as that. There are people who don't want to receive love. There are people who don't want to be loved. There are people who don't like you and don't want anything to do with you. There's just There's people with hard hearts. So hopefully, as brothers and sisters, we can love each other. Um, we can serve the unsaved. But if we have a brother or a sister who is just hurtful and not recognizing that, we're still supposed to keep them in our lives. It's just that we have to treat them different. We talk about that as boundaries. We keep people in our lives. We don't get rid of people, but we certainly set up boundaries because they're not in a position of trust. We can't trust them when they don't operate in love. I know I'm going on with this, but there are just some things here that we have to sink in. We have to, it's like Paul says, be at peace with everyone as far as it depends on you. That's recognizing there's another person in the relationship. So do everything that you can to love. Do everything you can to forgive. Do everything you can to be at peace with everybody. And do everything that you can to include everybody. But it's not always responded to. That's sad. Okay, well, you guys have a really good day. Be at peace with everyone as far as it depends on you. Be blessed, be engaged. Just because it gets messy doesn't mean we're excused from loving people. So let's get a bit messy today and love those who can't necessarily love us back or don't love us back. It's a good day. It's a good day to serve. It's a good day to love. God bless.